the Leafs got in the way of it.
Yes.
Brad Treliving supposed to talk at 11 along with Mark Leach, who is the head of scouting. Obviously, that was then delayed to 12:30, so we're recording this later in the day. Let's talk about the Brad Treliving press conference, and I'm just going to sum it up from watching it from home. Tell me if this was your feeling on the ground, that for the most part, it was the Dua Lipa meme, go girl, give us nothing. There was just, he had things to say, but like, even when it came down to things like, are you going to qualify Nick Robertson and Pontus Holberg? He's like, yeah, well, Nick's got a good set of skills.
They're not going to not qualify.
Yeah, they're going to be qualified. Yeah, because I think it's everybody. They already had the names out. It's 4 guys in this league that are not going to be qualified. They're going to become UFAs.
It's very shortly.
Yeah, everybody does it.
Cody Glass.
Yeah, I don't remember the names off the top of my head. But yeah, so they're going to get their qualifying offers. So they're going to be around. But that's not a priority for him. If we're starting there, like the extra guys on the lineup outside of Tavares, Knies, and Marner, and even Knies, he's talking about how there's time with Knies. He doesn't have to get this done immediately, and they can sit back and take their time with it and figure out what they can do in free agency and leading up to the next 48 hours to the draft, and then figure out their RFAs. So
he's not getting offer sheeted.
He's using the time he has available to him because Knies isn't getting offer sheeted.
Tavares, though, he said that's a more defined deadline.
Exactly.
And it seems like that's probably an agent set deadline. Like if July 1st rolls around, this hometown discount's off.
We got till Monday just for everybody in those negotiations. Once JT hits the market, like I don't think he's coming back, because that's usually the point of no return.
It's also a second line center. Like it's a big decision. And listen, like we got to figure out how to get like Granlund or someone else if it's not you.
Yeah,
like we got to pivot fast.
The word is
there's things like the JJ Peterka deal that are out there where it's like, if you knew you weren't going to get Tavares, maybe you should really go hard off or something like that.
I think it's Kipper that's been reporting that the Leafs no longer see Tavares as a second line center long term, or not long term, even next season. They prefer him be a third line center, hence why they want to pay him like one.
I just don't think that's true.
Okay, if you don't think that's fair, but
I believe that he heard that, but that he had almost 40 fucking goals. What are you talking about?
Do you have, Jesse, a sense of like when Brad was in the room? Because sometimes when you're in the room and you're talking to somebody, you can get a sense of like their mood when a topic comes up.
Yeah.
When he talked about John, he's like, we both expressed that we wanted to get to the same end, which is sticking together. What was the feeling from Brad rather than the words?
I think the company line is that this thing's going to get done.
Okay.
I think both sides believe that, and that he's been so open about how much John wants to stay and how much they want him since the season has ended. Like I think he's spoken like twice, I guess.
A lot
since it's been done, since the season has ended, and every single time it's reiterating the point that like they want to get JT done. It's something they're focusing on, and I think like the deadlines are gonna cause things to come to an end, and they're gonna figure out a deal. And this is the whole negotiation part is that we're hearing about, and like, hey, they're far apart, but like that's how these negotiations work.
Right.
Yeah.
Deadlines clear the mind.
It gets done.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Thank you guys for reminding me to about every hour or two, I just send CJ a photo of Steven Lorentz.
Because you just want to know?
I just want to know. I just want to know. Listen, if you have CJ's number, you abuse that privilege.
I don't. I try not to.
No. I don't believe in that philosophy at all.
You guys are idiots.
That's weird.
It's CJ. No. Just be like, where's he going, Siege?
CJ's probably out right now going, Jesus, Steve must be recording. I'm not getting my phone.
When's he coming back?
On the go ahead, give us nothing train, I think it was a lot of, the other guys. But he did give us something on Mitch Marner, which is the thing we've all been getting. But he gave it back to us. And at least we're hearing it from the horse's mouth that once that he thinks Mitch Marner is going to hit free agency, barring some unforeseen change. Mitch Marner is no longer Toronto Maple Leaf, and that's coming from the GM. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is true. He's not sticking around.
I was disappointed he didn't comment on the William Karlsson and/or Thomas Hertl coming to the Leafs for the 8th year of Mitch Marner's contract. Guys, Pietrangelo isn't playing. And Mitch isn't signing for 8 or 7.
Guys,
I don't know how many times I need to say that.
There's a new CJ show out right now. Stop wasting your time. Listen to CJ show.
Thank you.
There's so much other.
It's crazy. It was crazy to me. Like, so I was talking to somebody yesterday that was pretty plugged in, and they're like, I think outside of like the Trent Frederick deal, 8-year deals are going to be for the players like a thing of the past. They're not. Nobody wants that. If even as a mid-range or a low-range player, why would you want that?
No, if you're Trent Frederick
and you've had a pretty serious injury,
you would absolutely want that.
Sure.
I actually think you're going to see quite a few.
Maybe on the high end side, I guess, but I feel like if you're a guy who scores 50 or 60 points, that's worth what, $5 million now? In a few years, that's going to be 7 or 8.
Yeah, but what if you're Trent Frederick and you're useful, but you don't do that, right? There's plenty of guys in the league that are like that, and they're useful, but you maybe, I don't want to give them anyway. I'm using the experience of 2012.
Okay.
In 2012, we got to get NHL owners and GMs, they got to get spending under control, and we got to figure this out. And Evander Kane, Tyler Seguin, fucking Zach Parise, Ryan Suter, like just all these way crazy, hyper expensive, multi-forever contracts that were signed like literally hours before the lockout began, and then they were illegal. But teams were able to ride those deals to cups for years and years to follow, mainly the Blackhawks. They were able to win 2 Stanley Cups with deals that were, when they won the Cups, illegal to sign, with Duncan Keith and Marian Hossa. The Red Wings, I think, had some success. Like there were several teams that got in under the deadline and benefited from it for years to come. And I will bet, depending on when this CBA kicks in, because
it will be after next year.
Oh, well then perfect.
Oh, there'll be deferred money this summer.
I think you're going to see. So I hope there's deferred money this summer, although the NHL sounds like they're going to try to get away with it.
They can't, though.
Well,
the CBA is the CBA, unless it's a retroactive CBA, which I would doubt.
Yeah, but Gary,
why would the players do that?
As a way of, hey, I would be really upset if you did this. Or you see a shitload of salary deferred and or 8-year contracts signed over the next little bit because they're going away.
Because they're going to 7 years.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Well,
cheat.
Here's a legal way to cheat.
Yeah.
You know something is going to not be allowed, but it's currently allowed.
Jesse.
Get in under the wire.
So Knies, what was the feeling with Knies? I mean, the best part of I thought that press conference was like Treliving's like, well, it's clear he's going to make more money than he did last year.
Yes, Treliving likes his little jokes.
Yeah,
he's very subtle.
He's jocular.
Yeah. I got like one little line that'll make you chuckle here and there.
He must have been awesome to play with.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Yeah, in the minors. Oh my god, you kidding?
Yeah,
Brad and his
the nice thing where we started the conversation. He's not a priority. I don't think like right now. He's not desperate to get Knies done.
You are getting radioed for that.
It's not,
NHL rumor report is going to be like Jesse Blake says Matthew Knies is not a priority.
And I'm going to link to the full show.
Is on the back burner of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
They don't give a shit.
I am linking to the full show. I am on your ass, aggregators.
There's going to be a tweet.
I am on your ass.
Jesse Blake eviscerates Leafs front office.
And then it's like you, but AI, and your faces, or you're frowning and mad,
stabbing Brad Treliving.
Your lips are moving, but your teeth aren't. It's just
no. The internet's fucking no misinformation.
No, it's cool.
Okay,
no
Kevin,
quotes taken out of context.
Okay, they're Kevin with Y.
So
the nice thing, he's got time. He's got time. He's not getting offer sheeted. They'll figure this out mid-July.
And if he does, then they'll have a choice to make.
Yeah. The other thing I think that was interesting that he said, that was kind of, I think, important for the next couple of days. He alluded to the fact that it's more likely they trade back than up. He asked about trading up in the draft, and he said, we trade up, but like it's probably a trade down situation. And acquiring more picks.
So that speaks to something you both referenced earlier, and I think we got to expand on that. Yeah. Free just said it, CJ said it. People are like, listen, we say this every year, but there are a lot of first round picks available out there, and it's super weird. And yeah, I get it's not the deepest draft. But it seems to be more than normal. So I wanted to, because I think teams have more money to spend. So, those assets become differently valued.
That too.
Mark Leach talked about that, Jesse. And I want to kind of dive into that because that part is probably the biggest part for me for the future of this organization. Again, coming from a Leafs perspective where they have nothing in the cupboard, trading down is a very Kyle Dubas thing. We have a little PTSD from that. Well, missing out on guys like, I don't know, DeBrincat.
That just means he made bad picks.
Sure.
Like
it's a smart strategy.
The logic is there, yeah.
So my question to you, Jesse, is what was it that they said? Why did they say it that way? What's the Leafs philosophy on that? Because they're not even picking until like 65.
64 is the pick.
How dare you?
This time of year is fun because you hear from different people. It's the first time I've ever seen Mark Leach speak.
And I love him.
Amateur scouting.
I love his history.
For the Leafs. He came from the Dallas Stars, who have a great track record of drafting. So it's exciting to see what he's going to do with this this draft here coming up. And he's very comfy picking at 64. And I love that he talked about the idea of picking for talent as opposed to positional need. He says no matter like what moves Treliving makes ahead of the draft or during the draft, or whether they pick at 64 or later, it's whatever player comes up when their pick is on the table. Whoever's best on their trade board or on their draft board, that's who they're taking.
I will say they always say that.
They do.
No one has ever been like, we are drafting.
Actually,
but
that's
D
not
come
true.
hell or high water.
That's not true.
A lot of
Leafs.
front offices say that, but when they get to that moment, they're like, you know what, we need a goalie, and they draft a goalie. And I think it's good to hear him say it because I think we know he's going to stick to it.
It's one of my favorite things to see, like whenever I'm just hockey DB surfing every year is, at this moment, teams went, shit, we got to get a goalie.
Yeah.
One goalie goes and then they go, no. And then there's like 5 picked that round.
Or the teams are like, we need a defenseman and we're taking 3 right-handed shots in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, because we want those for organization. But I think Mark Leach is like calm and cool, and he's got his head on his shoulders, and he knows that when that pick comes up, he's going to take the best player available. Who cares where the Leafs are in right now, because that player's coming up in 3 to 5 years, and that's when they're going to be a part of this organization. So we can't predict where the team is at the NHL level at that point.
Another reason why that strategy is great is they need everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
hey, and big and competitive were 2 words that came up. Can we talk about that a little bit?
So he was asked specifically about like the defensemen, and Leach referenced this year's playoffs, and he said, look at the defensemen who are out there during these playoffs. They're big. So we know that Treliving and Leach want big defensemen. That is a thing he said is a strategy we've seen for them take in the last couple of years, and I think they're going to continue with that.
I think it's interesting. One of the things that really stands out to me, one of Wes Clark's last availabilities was post-draft last year. And he said, well, when they talked to him about Danford, and he said, well, you know how Tree likes him, which is not how we like him. It's how Tree likes him. Now, a few days later, he left for Pittsburgh, and it might have just been a turn of phrase.
Well, he also got Knies, right? Like,
I'm not saying that he doesn't like big people. What I'm saying is that
he hates him big.
He certainly didn't own that.
He hates Jesse.
He didn't say that for us was a can't miss.
Right.
He didn't say I really own that one. I'm really proud we got him. It was we know how Tree likes him.
Yeah, Ben Danford, by the way, who's 6'2", 194 right now.
And
so I think
awesome.
So I think part of that is maybe Wes and maybe neither are wrong, but Wes and Tree probably didn't see eye to eye. Hence why Wes went to Pittsburgh to break bread with only the people he would die for.
Yeah.
And Leach is in.
That's interesting.
And they probably just align on strategy a little bit better. I mean, Tree is literally, I don't think people realize there's like over 100 people in the Leafs front office, right? You guys know that, right?
Well, okay, but that's saying every scout is a member of the front office.
And it is.
Which
there are estimates out there that most teams are about 60 to 70. Leafs are probably double.
Yeah, I brought that up on the show when the Leafs got eliminated.
There you go.
When Kipper said it on Sportsnet Central, and he was talking about how when Keith Pelly he's more focused on the Leafs, get rid of Brendan Shanahan. Now he's going to put his stamp on the organization. And it seems like a lot of his philosophy behind the scenes is cutting in the front office because the Leafs are a bloated front office.
And none of them are, by the way, none of them were hired during Treliving's tenure, or at least a lot of them are left over.
If you have 11 billion scouts and never have any picks, I have terrible news for you.